Alocasias will break your heart. Not if, not maybe, they will break your heart. And I know this because they've broken mine into a million pieces. But I keep trying. I keep trying to find that alocasia formula, and I will never stop. I will never give up. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the alocasias that I had that are now dearly departed. But I will also throw in some tips and tricks, some new things that I'm trying to help my alocasias thrive. Because of course, as you know, based on Einstein's theory of insanity, you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Now that is just the very definition of insanity. So I'm switching a few things up and I'm trying to see whether that will help my alocasias thrive. But before we step into that, I'll show you some of the alocasias that I had that are now dearly departed. We're just going to do a little dearly departed roll. Alocasia Black Velvet, dearly departed. Alocasia Red Secret, dead. Alocasia Sculprum, variegated no less, dead. Alocasia Mellow, dead. I could go on and on and on. Alocasias come into my house, hang out a little bit, and whoops, off they go. And look, I have no shame in confessing this, and I know a lot of people out there have problems with alocasias. I think alocasias are worse than calatheas, to be honest. And I don't know, I really just don't know what they want. I have had great success with them, and then they just tank. So I don't know. I'll show you some of the alocasias that are still alive and show you some of the things that I'm doing to some of them to help them live even longer. Okay, first one up. This is my Alocasia Dragon Scale. This Alocasia Dragon Scale is hanging in there, 3 leaves, which is a good record for an Alocasia, I guess. It's in leca. Roots are doing well, so I can't really complain. However, take a look at this picture. This is what this plant used to look like. What happened? I don't know. Same pot, same conditions. I don't know. It lives in my grow tent. It's got lots of humidity. It's got lots of light. Same conditions as it had when it looked like this, but it now looks like this. You tell me. I really don't know. Now for this one, I've decided to give it a very shallow reservoir. It's very, very small. There's hardly any water in there because a good friend once said to me, be mean. Be mean. And if you're mean, they'll love you for it. So I don't know, maybe. I'll show you another one. You will really love this one. This is my Alocasia Ebony. Yep. This is my Alocasia Ebony. Alocasia Ebony. It was a beautiful plant. It was. It had the most magnificent leaf. It was awesome. I think there's a new leaf coming there. There was, but it feels very crispy. Living in leca as well. This was actually living in a grow tent, believe it or not. What changed? Nothing. It was thriving before, and now it's not. It decided it didn't want to live here anymore, and it's gone. It might still be alive in there. I don't know, because as you know, alocasias do tend to go dormant, but there's really no reason for this plant to have gone dormant, and I suspect what's under there is nothing but mush. I'm just going to leave it there and see what happens. This one here is a little Alocasia Red Secret. This plant is beautiful. Look at the color on that. And this, my friends, is why we all love alocasias so much. They're just glorious. The foliage on these things is spectacular, second to none. This one is just, it's a little plant living in leca, small reservoir. This was actually donated to me by someone on Instagram. They wanted to get rid of it. And I said, yeah, you know, I'll have it because of course mine's dead. And they were kind enough to send it to me, wouldn't even let me pay for postage. So, you know, plant peeps are the best kind of people around. But this is my Alocasia. I don't know if this plant will still be here in 6 months. We'll see. We will see. That's my Alocasia Mellow. Now, I promise there is a plant in there. There really is. There really is. So I hope you're starting to pick up on some of the things that I'm doing to help my alocasias thrive. So one of the, I think the first thing I've talked about is shallow reservoir. Shallow reservoir, really just give them the bare minimum. And I think that's kind of working so far. I don't know. I don't know. But this is my Alocasia Mellow. Now, you will notice that this one is actually not living in leca. This one is living in pon and not leca. Lechuza pon. And yes, I know. I'm the leca queen. Leca's my jam. Why am I hanging around in the pon world? Well, I had this pon because I've been buying lots of Lechuza pots lately, and the Lechuza pots come with a pon. And I thought, look, I'm really trying to find ways of helping my alocasias live. So why not? Why not try pon? Because I have used leca, it's worked, and then it hasn't. So just trying to find different ways to make the things live. And I put my Alocasia Mellow in this. And yeah, there was a plant there and it did have leaves. Maybe it had one or two, I don't know. But this is what that now looks like. Is it dead? I don't know. What do you think?
What is happening?
There's something there. It could just be mush in there. I very much suspect that that's just a mushy. You all know what it means when I say mush. You pick up your Alocasia and it's just mush under there. There's no plant, there's nothing, there's no corms, it's just rotten mush. This is what I suspect is happening in here. I've decided though that I'm not going to take this out of this. I'm still giving it some nutrient solution and I'm just going to leave that forever. And maybe something will happen. Maybe I'll get an Alocasia Mellow coming out of that. I don't know. I had a gorgeous Alocasia Mellow. Look at it here. It was beautiful. That's what I now have. And this isn't even this plant. This was a new one. I got a new one. And that's another thing with alocasias. They'll break your heart and they'll break your bank account because you'll keep buying more and more and more and more. And they just keep dying, dying, dying. So yeah, that is my Alocasia Mellow. Please, 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 could you let me know? Just to make me feel better and not make me feel that I'm such a bad plant parent. Could you just let me know in the comments below what alocasias you've killed? I really would love to know. It will help my mental health because I'm just so upset about the fact that I keep killing these things. Please make me feel better by letting me know in the comments below. This is another Alocasia. I don't even know what that is because I had some corms lying around. I germinated them. This leaf here looks like it's leaving and it's being replaced by that one. There's another something going on down there. Not too sure what. But I'm hoping that this plant will live long enough for me to be able to identify what it is. Yeah, this one's living in my Italian leca. Shallow reservoir like the others, and yeah, so far so good. So maybe winning with this one, touch wood. Next up is my gorgeous Alocasia amazonica, Alocasia poly. It's beautiful, looks good, it's looking good. I mean, this leaf is a bit sus. It looks like it's on its way out, but it's hanging on. So in essence, there's actually 3 leaves here, which, you know, saying a lot for an Alocasia. That as well, that's the reservoir. And it's actually empty, as you will see. And I am in no rush to fill that up. Probably give it a few days. So I'm just, you know, being mean and trying to keep them keen. And hopefully that keeps them alive. My pot has got lots of ventilation holes, as all my pots do. So I'm hoping that those roots are getting that air and that reduces, you know, the amount of root rot as well. That also, the shallow reservoir will do that. But I think this one is happy, don't you? But of course, the cheap one is happy, isn't it? The expensive ones are the ones that die. That's just, it's really not fair. Remember, I did say they will break your heart. Next up, you guys know what that is. That is my Alocasia green velvet. I love this plant. The velvety nature of those leaves are just, it's just amazing. The dark green, and then you've got that white vein going through there. It's just absolutely fabulous. That's the rest of it there. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's got leaves, so I guess I can't complain. It seems to still be alive. This is another plant that I've actually got living in pon. The roots look good. It's alive. I don't know. I've got this one in my grow tent. It's living in pon. It's got a very, very shallow reservoir, very shallow. So it does go through periods where it's a little bit drier than I normally would keep my other plants. I'm really hoping that you know, gets things cracking and it just survives. You know, I had a beautiful green velvet. Look at it here. It was absolutely glorious. One of my most favorite photographs I have is of me holding my green velvet. It was beautiful. That green velvet is now gone. It's gone to plant heaven. I'll tell you why I think most of my alocasias died. So they were doing really well in my old home, and then I had to move house. So with the process of moving house, I took them out of their normal environment and I filled up the reservoirs. I suspect I probably filled the reservoirs up a little bit too high and they weren't receiving as much light because I left them in an empty home with the blinds drawn because I couldn't leave them open. And then by the time I brought them to this new house, they were all just, and really that was the end of my alocasia collection and I just had to start again. Which, again, going back on the theme,
just break your heart.
But we love our alocasias, don't we? And we always come back for more. Coming up is one of my faves. That is my Alocasia bisma. Now, look at that. Don't you think that
Thing of beauty.
Those leaves are firm. You've got that silvery sort of platinum look going there. It's absolutely fabulous. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you believe it? There's actually 4 leaves on this alocasia. It's amazing. But what is even more stunning is look at this gorgeous. I've got a new leaf coming. They're going to be 5. This one over here looked like it wanted to check out. I think it's decided to hang on. But what's weird is this plant is actually in leca. Okay, it's living in leca and that's the roots there. Look at that root. Look at how healthy that root looks. No sign of root rot whatsoever. This plant is doing really, really well. I also have it in a very shallow reservoir and it's not even living in my grow tent. It doesn't even get like really supplemented light or humidity or whatever. It's just living in my living room on top of a table, bang. So, you know, maybe there's something to this whole being mean to keep them keen thing. I'm telling you guys, I'm literally doing nothing for this plant. And look, it's unfair. It's unfair. Maybe it's a case of we love them too much. And because we love them too much, they hate us back. I don't know. I don't know. If you have the secret to alocasias, let me know in the comments below because I don't know what it is. I just don't know. Need I say more? The back of this plant is just the most SEXY thing I have ever seen. Look at that. Yes, I do have a 6-year-old in the house, so I kind of spell everything out. I love it. So my original plant was this. Look at this thing. How beautiful is that? This is what alocasias do. They just tug at your heart and you want to have them. So this one died. Yeah, it died. And I got myself another one. And this one is doing okay. You know, touch wood again. Touch wood. Do it. Look at that. It's bigger than my head. It's absolutely glorious. I've got this one living in pon as well. So this one's living in pon. And that's the reservoir. And you will see that it is dry. Maybe I'll fill it tomorrow or the day after. I don't know. I don't care. because the minute you start to care, the thing dies. But look at this. I can't get enough of looking at that plant. It's just the most glorious thing. So anyway, that's alocasias. So to recap, alocasias will break your heart. They will. They'll break your heart. They'll break your bank account. That's, if you can accept these things, then you'll be good. And then you can gladly go out and buy yourself some more alocasias to replace the ones that you've just killed, and you will be happy. But in your quest to keep your alocasias alive, maybe you might like to try some of these things. You could have a very, very airy mix. So you have your mix. If you're using potting mix, let that water or nutrient solution just seep through, and not a heavy potting mix. Or you could use the semi-hydro way. So you could use leca, you can use pon. These things have worked for me, maybe, and that seems to work. And of course, because they've got nutrients and they've got water available all the time, maybe that might work better. I don't know. You might possibly try giving them a lot of light, increasing their humidity. Alocasias do like to be warm. Once it gets below a certain temperature, they just say, you know what, I'm out, I am going to go dormant. And that's it. All leaves gone and the thing just looks dead when it really isn't. Probably maybe not watering as much as you usually would. So keeping your reservoir very, very low if you're using semi-hydroponics, or watering only when the plant needs it if you're using soil. Apart from that, there's not really much I can tell you. And you have seen, and I have confessed, I am a serial alocasia killer, and I probably will continue to be one. But I love them, and I will continue to get more. Anywho, alocasias. I know you love alocasias because you're watching this video. Go and watch my video where I do a tour of my alocasias, the beautiful ones when they were still alive. You will absolutely love it. I'll see you there.